Good afternoon, everybody. I've got Andrew Sorchini back with us today. So, Andrew, thank you so much for being here, and you got the floor. Go ahead. Tell us what's going on in the gold and silver market.
Well, it just seems like the conflict or the war, if you want to call it, in Iran has had a big effect on all of the financial markets, including gold and silver. So a lot of people are just, I'm sure they didn't plan it this way, but they're kind of in a holding pattern because they want to see what happens. And I think it's obvious. We've been attacking a small country, and we've bombed them so much that there's really nothing left to bomb other than the parts of Iran that the people use. And I think we're looking for a quick resolution at this point. It's clear that gold and silver are going to absolutely take off as soon as we have a peace agreement. And every time there's been either a ceasefire or a deal on the table, like there is right now, we see a big up day. As we speak, silver's up over $4 an ounce today, and gold is up over $130 an ounce. And just finally, over the past few weeks, it's like you said, up $5 an ounce on silver one week, down $5 an ounce on silver the next, and repeat. And the people out there that are the more astute investors have been moving more capital into the gold and silver space over the past few weeks because they see the opportunity that's brewing. I'm telling you, gold and silver will blast off for several days after there's a peace agreement. So this is a good time to shore up what you have put away in gold and silver and really get as much as you can.
When there's events transpiring, we're going to see movement of precious metals. Regardless of how this plays out with regards to events, because events are a little hard to understand because we can't predict what's going to happen with an event. But I do know specifically when I look at the chart patterns, we've been saying forever, silver is going to be going up from $20, $30, $40, okay? So the point I'm trying to make is we have seen silver hit $121. And like Andrew said, there's going to be an event that's going to trigger the next up. That's the point that we've seen it top out. We've seen that recovery phase where it drops down and it's just going sideways. $5 up, $5 down. I checked my phone this morning and silver's up like $4.50 on a single day, right? So we're seeing a lot of big moves right now. But and again, when we look back at this historically, man, Andrew, could you imagine like 2 years ago seeing a $4 move on silver in one day? Man, if that happened, you and I would be jumping for the rooftops, right? It's like, what is going on? We've never seen this kind of stuff before. And now we're seeing swings like this. We're seeing $2 days, $3 days. We're seeing these multi-dollar days, okay? And so we're about to see another move, and it's not going to be down. The next move is up. But what's going to happen is going to accelerate. So whatever the event is, I don't know, but I do know that when I look at the patterns on the charts, here's what I wanted to show everybody, put this together here. And this is important because charts can give you a good understanding of what could happen. This is the chart on gold in the year 2025, 26, and present day. We've said forever gold's be going up. In 2025 January, it was $2,600. This is incredible. By the end of the year and into first month, it literally went up to $6,000. Imagine that move. Like this happened, right? And then they dropped it down. It went down to $4,000. It dropped because they manipulated it down. But this is the point I want to show here. You see the black line? That's a resistance line. You get a event, we're going to see silver and gold blow through these lines, these black lines. Gold's got one, and silver's got a massive line as well, too, a solid black line. When it breaks that black line, right now it's at $77 as we speak. When it breaks the black line, it's going to go through 80, quickly to 90, and it's going to keep accelerating. Point I'm trying to make is we've got a very powerful upcycle in the month of May into June, okay? So nothing's stopping gold and silver from going up. They're going to manipulate it, but it's cycle, the direction, meaning the longer term direction, forgetting about daily movements, but the longer weekly patterns, the monthly patterns are up. Specifically, We see silver right now break through 77, go quickly to 80. It's going to accelerate to 88 and then 90. It's going to accelerate. And then what happens is everyone's going to go, hey, what is Andrew's phone number? How do I get of Andrew? Because here's what people do. They buy when it's going up instead of buying when it's cheap. That's unfortunately, psychology. They're like, they want confirmation that we're right. Andrew, what did we say when it was $20? It's going up. We said it at $30. We said it at $40. And regardless of now what Andrew and I truly believe in our hearts, silver and gold are going to do, prophecy says this is the final sale. Our last podcast we said the same thing too. And right now, silver is like $6 or $7 higher from our last podcast. And it's now at a point where it could literally break out very soon and start accelerating. And accelerating is a very important word because when it accelerates, they're not $3 moves. Like today was a $4 move, and that wasn't even acceleration. We could see $10 days. We're going to see the days that are going to be so awesome. And that's the point I'm trying to make is having the viewers that are listening, please understand, okay, we're setting up for a great wealth transfer. And Andrew understands what's been happening here. And Andrew, the beautiful part about Andrew, he gets on with all these people that talk wealth transfer. That's the amazing part. You've been on with so many different podcasters, that specifically are talking a wealth transfer is coming. So we're not the only ones saying it. It's just I'm tapping into the chart patterns. And so the key here is, can you buy silver? Can you buy gold? And the answer is, if it's available to buy, it's not too late. And that's always the thing. People always say, well, it's at 77. Is it too late to buy? Andrew, what happened in the last bull market? What happened in bull markets of history? What happens when silver turns bull market and everybody wants some? What I want to address is the scarcity of silver and how fast it disappears off the shelves. Andrew, go ahead, explain that, because this is why it's called precious.
Yeah, so the biggest thing to know is that the silver market, if you Google what is the spot price of silver today, that spot price is actually based on the paper silver that's traded in the financial markets. So it's actually based on an actual commodity market. The spot price also includes a physical silver. So the physical silver, if you're looking at a pie chart, the physical silver represents a very, very small portion of all of the silver that's being traded out there, because the paper silver isn't actual silver. It is backed by a small percentage of actual silver, but most of it is just being traded, and it's not real silver that you could take delivery on. Every person out there that's trading in paper silver could not take delivery on the same day because there's not enough silver out there to cover it. So to answer Bo's question, it doesn't take much for the silver supply, I'm talking the physical silver supply, to dry up. It was maybe 3-4 years ago, one of the Waltonaires made an investment of $50 million in silver, and that hurt the silver market for the better part of the next 12 months, because that's how fragile the physical silver market is. We experienced it again here just last year when silver broke through $50 an ounce, and then around Christmas time it hit like $75 or $80 an ounce, and that truly was the greatest gift out there for people during the holiday time, because you got confirmation that what you believed was going to happen all along can and would be happening. And the best part is that it was happening now. And the supply of certain things like silver eagles and 100-ounce silver bars, we were delayed like 2-3 weeks for delivery on these items. Right now, they're readily available, but most people that are watching this won't reach out to us right away. They'll wait until silver is $20 an ounce higher and it's unavailable or on delay. That's really what happens. And Bo, you mentioned something about silver being like $20 an ounce. It wasn't that long ago. And it really had to go to 2.5 times that in order to break through 50. Imagine if silver just went up 2.5 times where it's at now. Or what would that be, like $175 an ounce plus, maybe almost $200 an ounce? It's certainly doable. And Bo, I met you in the Reawaken America tour, and it was through Clay Clark originally.
Yeah.
And I knew that I started working with Clay in May of 2021. So this morning I went through all of my texts and I wanted to try to find out what was the exact date of my first interview with Clay, which really is how I met you. And it actually, this coming Monday is the 5-year anniversary of that. But the most fun part of scrolling through 5 years of texts was how excited we were going through all of this. I remember sending a text out to everybody. Gold just passed $2,000 an ounce for the first time ever. And that was just like, I think it was 2022 or 2023. Yeah. And here we're sitting at 4,600. We were at 5,500 in January. And now one of the big banks is projecting that it's going to get to 6,000 an ounce this year. But these things really happen. We've been talking about this for years. What we've talked about with people that are analysts, people that are investors, and even prophets. It's happened.
But then even the analysts, they're not talking wealth transfer, but all the analysts are still talking that there's going to be a very move in silver and gold. Bank of America is updating that silver is going to go over $300 in the year 2026. So even Bank of America is talking about this. This is not make believe. Okay, so right now silver's at $77.
Okay, so earlier this year, silver did hit as high as $121 an ounce. And the only thing that stopped silver there was the news that the director of the Fed, Jerome Powell, was going to be stepping down. When that happened, that was actually significant news because the previous 5 years or however long he had that position, it was his policy on money. The monetary policy was just like such a joke that gold and silver is where everybody wanted to put their money. Even other countries were doing that more than anything else. So the idea that he would be leaving and somebody that might do a better job would come in might have changed everything. So that caused massive profit taking, and we're still trying to recover. We would have recovered, but this war in Iran has stalled that. And now more recently, I think it was last week, news came out that it's getting real close to the day that Jerome Powell steps down, but he's not really stepping down. He's staying on the board. So he's going to be there for a while. That's bad news for America and the Fed Reserve and the monetary policy, but it's good news for people that own physical gold and silver. We just need an event that's gonna verify what the charts that you put up are already showing. And we talked about this before the interview, and you said exactly a peace agreement with Iran could be the event that would probably make gold and silver go vertical. And I absolutely believe that. I think right now is the time to stock up on whatever you can. If you've not rolled over your retirement account, if you have and you have more that you could roll into gold and silver, it might be a good idea to do it, because right now silver is still about 1/3 of the price that it was in January, cheaper now. So it was 121 in January, and now it's 77. You're getting it at a huge discount, and it's available, and you can get anything you want, and you don't have to wait for it.
Like I've said, 121 on silver is going to break, okay? This is even prophecy that when it goes through $121, it's going to explode. Okay, so it's going to work its way up to 121, and when it goes to 121, it's going to explode. What does that mean? Well, we just showed you an article that even the banks are expecting like $300, okay, this year. So an explosion will cause silver to very quickly increase in price from 121 to 150, 200, 300. These numbers are coming. No one can stop what's about to happen, but it's a matter of positioning yourself. So I do these podcasts with Andrew. Why? I want the viewers listening to understand money creation. You log into your bank account and you think you've got money in there, okay? It's not money, they're digits. If you have 4 or 5 digits in your bank account, please go there, just as a test, because Andrew will verify this is what happens all the time. Ask to get it out in cash, in paper, and they're going to say no to you, or it's going to take a long time to get that cash because they don't have it available. Number two is, if you got a lot of money, if you want to take this money and buy some gold or silver or cryptocurrencies, they're going to ask you what it's for, and many times they're going to block the transactions or fight you to get the transaction out. The point I'm trying to make is they want to keep you in the system that they control, keyword, okay? As long as they can control it, they can turn you off. Gold and silver are outside the banking system. They hate it. They can't stand it, okay? They've called it a rock. It's actually, we talked about it, it's God's money. And so it's been money for how long? 4,000-5,000 years. Very important to understand, okay? If it's been money for that long, show me another currency that's been money for even 1,000 years. And the answer, there's none. The US dollar is the longest experiment on money that's ever existed. And it's like, we're like 112 years now or something like that, okay? Every other currency has collapsed that's ever been created after 30, 40, 50 years, okay? So the US dollar, history says it's never going to last forever, and it's going to have a very bad day one day, and it's coming. And I believe it's going to happen here like really soon. And that's going to be one of the reasons why silver and gold explode. I've not had a chance to read this book yet, but Andrew actually went so far as to even take all of his research, and this is a new thing, he just stuck it into a book, and he did it with clay. But the point here, I guarantee you, you talk about money in there, don't you, Andrew? Where it came from, how they created out of thin air. Give the viewers a little rundown.
People ask me all the time, they say, okay, what is the book actually about? I say the book is the history of money from the beginning of time, the history of all the different types of money and what happened to them. They've all ended at some point. The only ones that haven't ended are all the currencies that are still in place today, like the US dollar. But even the US dollar does have a date where it won't exist anymore. We don't know exactly when that is, but we know we're getting close. And the other thing that it's about is if money has been replaced by newer money year after year after year, then why do people want gold, and how long have gold and silver existed, and really what are all the benefits of it? So we've literally put together in a book everything that we've ever talked about. It's a history of inflation is in there, and the central banks, and how owning physical gold and silver will complement other investments like real estate. And if you have cryptocurrency, it's not, do I need gold or do I need cryptocurrency? They complement each other. So all of that's in the book. You can read the whole thing in 2 hours or less. If you scan that code, you can download the book for free. And I would highly recommend it. A good friend of mine is a full-time day trader, has been for almost 40 years. He's been a licensed commodity and a licensed stockbroker. And he read the book and he said, wow, that was really great. He said, I learned a lot reading the book. And this is a guy that's a full-time trader and has actually worked in the business for decades. And I think that was a huge compliment from him. And I just think that everybody out there that really wants to learn more about it. And I had somebody yesterday that downloaded it, and she goes, I downloaded it, but I'm a full-time teacher, and when I'm not at class, I help raise the grandchildren. She says, I haven't read a book in years. I'm tired by the time I get home. And I just said, this book is like a textbook. You could literally just open it up and read 1 or 2 pages. Just earmark the page, and if you're busy, look at a couple more pages in a couple days or a week or whatever. You don't lose the story if you don't read the whole thing, because it really is teaching you every part of money and how it relates to gold and silver.
Point I want everybody to understand and learn from this is, as Andrew said, the only money that hasn't collapsed yet is what's in circulation right now. And that has a lifespan too, okay? What doesn't have a lifespan is gold and silver. The point of understanding finance is this: if you do not have even 1 ounce of gold or 1 ounce of silver, you really don't understand finance. That's not demeaning. I'm saying is that history has proven that every single money that man creates ultimately goes to zero. And when that event happens, now this is very important. Please listen real close here. When that event happens, when any currency starts cavitating and collapsing, the intermediary currency always becomes gold and silver. So gold and silver become the go-to, and then the next currency is created, and then they tie that in with gold and silver, and then the next money now exists. But every time you've seen a collapse, the intermediary money that causes and allows the transition from one currency to the next it has always been gold and silver. So it's always been money. And understand, as much as you might have grown up and your parents have grown up using the US dollar, whatever dollar you're using, understand it's fiat money, and they can create it out of thin air, and they have been creating out of thin air to infinity. And if you don't believe me, I've said it before, look at your car prices, look at the home prices. Everything is a joke at this moment in time, okay? The prices of everything is just ridiculous. Cars, homes that in the 70s were worth $30,000 and now they're worth $500,000. Excuse me, like what? And these homes are 50, 60 years old, but they're worth that. They've gone up. No, nothing's gone up in value except the amount of money that now chases it. Okay, there's just an ocean of money chasing everything right now, and this game's coming to an end. I'm going to repeat, this game is coming to an end. And those who are wise position themselves, have gold, have silver, whether you get it from Andrew, whether you get it from another dealer, wherever you want to get it. I personally have used many gold dealers over the past 15, 20 years. Many. I found Andrew recently through the Reawaken America tour, and of all the dealers, he's the fastest, incredible deliveries. Okay, fastest and incredible deliveries. And he also does something very unique, which is he got down to a science. And this is what I really find important, is many people out there have 401ks and IRAs. And understand, you have digits when you go log into your account, okay? There's a certain value you might believe it has. But if those digits do not represent on the back end an actual store of gold and silver that's stored at a depository, all I got to say is all you have are digits, and those digits can disappear, okay? That's the problem, and no one believes that could ever happen. But it is coming, and I believe we're really close to it. So maybe you can finish up here as we wrap up, explain hard assets in a 401k, hard assets in an IRA, hard assets in a retirement account, because this is so important to understand. There's so many people in the world, they all have jobs, they work at corporations, and they all have monies that, their retirement, and like hardly anybody truly understands what a hard asset-backed retirement account is. So explain that in detail, Andrew. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a hard asset-backed retirement account is one like what we offer, which is a precious metals IRA. So let's say that you have an IRA that's at Fidelity. It probably owns stocks. It might be in some ETFs, which traditionally, those are not bad. But when you're in times where the dollar is really, really at risk of going away completely, when we're at the verge of going to a digital currency that may or may not be gold backed, people want to have something that they can put their hands on, that you can touch in your hand. It's portable wealth. So we can convert your IRAs into a precious metals IRA. You have real gold and silver that is held at a depository in Delaware. Rolling it over, it doesn't create a taxable event. If you need to take distributions, or if you do take regular distributions, we can help facilitate those. It doesn't make it so that you can't take a distribution. And if you're like some of our clients, which I don't recommend this, I'm only saying it to make a point. Sometimes I'll get a call from somebody that says, everything I'm seeing on the news scares me. I don't want to have any assets in the bank, anything more than I need to have. And I don't want my gold in the depository. Have it sent to me right away. And I just tell them, okay, let's just have a conversation about that, because if you take a distribution of the full amount of every ounce of gold and silver that you have in your account, And if you have a traditional IRA and not a Roth where your taxes have already been paid, you are creating a taxable event. And I have people sometimes say, I don't care. Just let's go ahead and have it all sent to me. And the point is that you have that option because you have physical gold and silver stored somewhere in a lockbox with your name on it, and it's yours to do whatever you wish. Most people opt to just keep it in the depository if they take regular distributions every year because you're required to. Maybe you don't need the money. Maybe you have you're living off of savings. People in that situation can take that distribution in gold or even in silver. So we help facilitate all of that. And Bo said we have it down to a science. We absolutely do. We have the greatest onboarding policy of getting these set up. All people that are watching this right now need to do is just reach out to us, schedule a consultation, and we just make it so easy. It's not like how it was 4 or 5 years ago. It's very, very easy. Just scan that QR code and say that Bo Polny sent you or Gold Forecast 2020 and say, I'd like to learn more about rolling over an IRA or a 401k. And what I found over the years is that people that have rolled over their IRAs to become precious metals IRAs, they'll call us and say, hey, I just realized I've got an old 401k from a company I worked at a long time ago, and it's got like $30,000 in it. Can I roll that into the account that I have with you guys? And the answer is you absolutely can. We've had people consolidate 4, 5, 6 different IRAs into one. So if you want to learn how that works, please reach out to us.
I just want to press upon the point that have the viewers understand why it's so important to own precious metals. When you look at your stock account, you'll see digits, but here's an example. You're looking at, that's silver, okay? That's a kilo of silver, but it's a hard asset, okay? These hard assets are then stored at a depository, and they're yours. Versus, so in other words, the digits that you're seeing on your retirement account, whether it's all of it, a fraction of it, whatever, they are tied in with a hard asset, a real thing, okay? It's not just a stock ticker. Tell your broker, I want to own silver or gold, and they will get you an ETF, an electronic fund account. It's a representation of this. If you can't hold it in your hand, aside from a paper, it ain't real, and those things burn in a fire. Very important to understand the difference between a hard asset and digital asset. I mean, things you just own digitally. I want the viewers to understand, unless you have this silver, gold, hard asset, and history has proven that every single money that is created by man in time collapses. In history, every single money has collapsed. Everyone. And Andrew made a great point. The only ones that haven't are the ones that you can see right now. But go back. Most of those are less than 100 years old. They don't have a history of thousands of years. They're talking 100 years. The US dollar is the longest one, 110, whatever, 115. But that's it. Okay. So in closing, Andrew, if people want to reach out, and again, is it too late? If you can call Andrew or any gold dealer and they say, what would you like to buy? Then it's not too late. Because when silver explodes, the people are going to do this. Everyone's going to jump on their phone. They're going to grab their computer. They're going to log in. They're going to try to buy on whatever platform as much silver as they can. And shortly thereafter, it all gets sold out. It just gets on because it's precious. There's only so much of it. You know, when you go to dinner sometime, my wife and I went to dinner the other night, and she wanted a special, piece of fish or something that they had, and she takes the order, and she comes back. She goes, unfortunately, that item is now sold out. Let that sink in. That item that my wife wanted is now sold out. Okay, that's called limited supply. That's what's about to happen with precious metals. On this next move, it's going to explode. The world is going to go, what? I need some of that. And you're going to see every hedge fund. You're going to see the general population, like Andrew says. You're going to see if you only 1% of the population bought silver, it'd be all gone. And that's only 1%, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
When on the explosion, there's not going to be 1%. You're going to see massive herd come into silver and gold, and it's going to be not available because it's just going to be gone. And wrap us up on, back to bull markets, how fast, why it's called silver, why precious metals, why is it precious? And then if people want to reach you again, how do they find you?
Gold and silver are precious because there's a limited supply. During this last run here at late January, one of the things that actually became impossible to get was similar to what you were just holding up. You were holding up a kilo silver bar, 32.15 ounces there. The 10-ounce silver bar was very scarce back in January, very hard to get, because a 10-ounce silver bar would cost roughly about $1,300, maybe $1,350 for just one 10-ounce bar. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a 100-ounce bar cost that same amount. So it was like a very, very scarce item. It starts with Silver Eagles selling out, and then it goes to the 100-ounce and 10-ounce bars, the kilo bars. Then it goes to other government coins like the Philharmonics and the Britannia. And then eventually it gets to some point where it's like, don't ask for anything specific. Just ask, what silver do you have available? And you want to jump on whatever you can get. It happens like that. Yeah. And there was one day,
yes, it does.
On January 30th, we actually shut down like less than halfway through the day. We closed for the whole day because that was the day that silver and gold corrected, and I didn't know what to sell anything for, and neither did the wholesalers. No. So I wasn't willing to sell what I had in my inventory until I knew what my replacement cost was for each gold and silver asset. And if I don't know what the replacement cost is, then I just have to close the doors for the day. It's the only time in the history of Beverly Hills Precious Metals that I've ever had to do that. And I think that there's going to be more days where that does happen. But just to clarify, on that day where that did happen, the back office was still here. So if anybody wanted to sell any gold or silver, or if people needed help with their retirement accounts, we were still here for that. But the sales team wasn't offering any gold or silver for sale at that moment. So it really is, gold and silver are precious. There is a limited supply. I chuckled when you said what you said about your wife and when they said that they were sold out for the day, because that happens all the time in this business, but it's not happening at this exact moment. That's why people need to reach out right away.
Awesome prices are coming on silver. Why? Because God said, okay? Who said, not Andrew said. But again, and if you don't believe in prophecy, that's fine. But we've been right for a long time. And what we're saying right now in the prophecy is this is the final sale. Okay, so we've seen prices drop from the highs. If you buy now, you're not paying 3 digits, so you're still getting it at a great price right now. And so in closing, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Incredible days ahead. It's going to be very epic. Okay, it's going to be really exciting. April was good. May is going to be incredible, what's about to happen. So thank you, Andrew, for being here. And in closing, how can people reach you and wrap us up?
Yeah, they can reach us at our website. It's bh-pm.com. Schedule a consultation. You can scan that QR code there, schedule a consultation, do it right away. We'll get back with you within 24 hours. And be sure to download the book. You can get it right from that QR code. It'll take us to our website, right up on the upper right-hand corner. Just download the book, put in your info, and you'll have access to it right away. It would serve you well. So please reach out to us as soon as possible.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Andrew, God bless you. Thank you so much for all your knowledge. And we want to wish everybody an absolutely fantastic rest of the week. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Amen.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.